Walmart has built its empire on the backs of working Americans. But what if the empire is rotting from the inside out? Every day, over 200 million people shop there, trusting the illusion of low prices and safe food. Yet behind those bright rollback signs lurk mounting complaints, federal audits, and silent recalls that never make the evening news. Why are steaks browning days before their sell-by date? Why are salmonella and listeria showing up in chicken meant to feed our families? And how many managers' specials are just expired meat in new disguises, smiling from behind shrink wrap while quietly counting down to disaster? This isn't just about spoiled groceries. It's about $1 billion system that bets your health won't get in the way of its profit margins. And older Americans living on fixed incomes are paying the price, sometimes with their wallets, sometimes with their well-being. This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. Today we're exposing the 12 shocking reasons why customers are furious with Walmart. Number 1. Rotten roulette. Walmart has quietly turned the meat aisle into something straight out of a Vegas casino, but the house always wins and the customer always loses. Imagine walking in hoping to feed your grandkids, only to find yourself rolling the dice with your own health. One package looks fine under those blinding fluorescent lights, like it's posing for a high school yearbook photo. The next, it's a gray, slimy corpse of a steak, leaking strange rainbow-tinted juices like it's auditioning for a horror film. Shoppers from Florida to Montana have flooded consumer boards with stories of chicken that smells like an old gym sock the second it's opened, ground beef bleeding mystery goo before the sell-by date, and steaks turning brown so fast you'd think they were trying to beat a world record. And these aren't just rare slip-ups. They've become disturbingly common, almost like Walmart has normalized food decay as part of the shopping experience. For older Americans scraping by on fixed incomes, tossing out a spoiled $10 cut of meat isn't an inconvenience. It's a week's worth of skipped lunches. Yet Walmart keeps playing meat roulette with the very people who can least afford to lose. Federal inspectors have logged repeated complaints about improper storage temps, and leaked internal reports from distribution centers describe broken refrigeration units left unfixed for weeks, allowing pallets of meat to stew in their own bacteria bath before being shipped off to stores. One former Walmart employee even told reporters that some meat was re-wrapped to look fresh, like putting lipstick on a zombie. The whole setup feels like a dark joke. You gamble your health, they pocket your cash. One reviewer summed it up in a single bone-chilling sentence: buying meat at Walmart is like asking, how sick do you want to get today? And the worst part? The question isn't rhetorical anymore. Number 2. Ghost meat counters. Walk into a Walmart meat aisle and you'll notice something eerily missing. Human beings. It's like stepping into a ghost town where the only residents are rows of silent, sweating plastic packages, staring back under buzzing fluorescent lights. No aproned butcher wiping down a counter, no thud of a cleaver on fresh beef, no friendly voice asking how thick you want your steak. That's because at most Walmart stores, there simply isn't a butcher at all. The meat you see isn't carved or ground on site by someone who knows what they're doing. It's mass-produced somewhere far away, sealed up like factory widgets, and shipped in bulk as if your dinner were just another pallet of toilet paper. By the time it lands on the shelf, no one really knows how long it's been riding in limbo. And that's the sinister part. There's no real quality gatekeeper. No one is sniffing for that sour ammonia tang of spoiled chicken. No one is checking color or texture daily. No one is rejecting a batch that sat too long in a warm truck. In real butcher shops, you see people inspecting, slicing, rejecting what looks suspicious. In Walmart, it's what you see is what you get, and what you get might be quietly rotting while looking fine on the outside. Like a politician's smile. Internal whistleblowers have even described meat sitting for days on open-air shelves after refrigeration glitches, with no staff trained to recognize danger signs. Walmart stripped out the butchers years ago to cut labor costs, and with them went the last line of defense between customers and decay. Older shoppers depending on these aisles as their main source of protein are left to play detective with their noses and wallets, forced to gamble because there's no one left behind the counter to warn them. It's not just cost cutting, it's trust cutting, and Walmart seems fine with leaving us all to sink or spoil. Number 3. Mystery meat mills. That shiny 100% Angus beef sticker might as well be a magician's smokescreen. because behind it, the truth disappears faster than a paycheck at the gas station. Walmart doesn't get its meat from quaint family farms with red barns and cows grazing on open pastures like the commercials love to pretend. A massive chunk of their supply comes from industrial meat mills built for one purpose only: cranking out mountains of cheap protein as fast and as mechanically as possible. Quality isn't the goal. Volume is. Sustainability? Forget it. It's all about how many pounds they can push down the conveyor belt, not what actually ends up on your plate. That Angus you're buying could be the lowest grade scraps processed through machinery that treats meat like an assembly line widget, vacuum sealed, stacked, and warehoused. For months before it ever sees the inside of your Walmart. By the time it hits the shelf, it's less like food and more like a thawed-out time capsule from the corporate freezer abyss. And good luck trying to get a straight answer about it. Ask where the meat came from, and you're met with blank stares or a QR code that spits out corporate jargon without revealing a single real farm name. Walmart's supply chain has become so bloated and tangled that even their own staff often have no clue which continent your burger was born on. Meanwhile, internal audits have flagged repeated failures in country of origin labeling compliance, meaning what's labeled product of the USA might have quietly toured half the globe first. It's like playing culinary roulette with invisible borders, except instead of chips, you're betting your health. For older Americans already wary of what they put in their bodies, this secrecy isn't just frustrating, it's terrifying. Walmart has turned transparency into a scavenger hunt, and the prize at the end isn't trust. It's doubt, shrink-wrapped and sold by the pound. Number 4. Expired time bombs. Every package of meat at Walmart might as well come with an invisible ticking clock. And by the time you grab it, that clock is down to its last desperate seconds. One of the ugliest, most tightly guarded secrets in the grocery world is the quiet practice of recycling meat. And Walmart has been caught playing this game like a crooked casino dealer stacking the deck. Here's how it goes. Meat creeping up on its expiration date gets slapped with a cheerful manager's special sticker marked down like a clearance sweater, or worse, peeled out of its original wrap and redressed in fresh plastic as if it had just been cut that morning. To an unsuspecting shopper trying to stretch a pension check, it looks like a golden deal. But what you're really bagging is a bacterial time bomb that's been quietly fermenting while the store floor hums with cartwheels and oblivion. Investigative reports have exposed that some Walmart locations push meat right to the razor's edge of its shelf life, and sometimes tiptoe past it entirely. Whistleblowers describe boxes of near-expired beef being pulled from shelves, relabeled and shuffled back out as if they had been born anew. Internal audits have flagged lapses where meat sat out too long during unloading, then was chilled again as if nothing happened. A bacterial roller coaster invisible to the naked eye. And in Walmart's cavernous, overheated stores where refrigeration has been repeatedly reported as inconsistent, this practice becomes a recipe for disaster in the most literal sense. By the time that manager's special steak hits your skillet, it might already be carrying enough bacterial load to make a microbiologist faint. For older Americans who can't afford hospital bills or wasted groceries, this isn't just a quality issue. It's Russian. Roulette with a grocery cart, and Walmart seems perfectly content to keep spinning the chamber. Number 5. The price trap. Walmart's meat prices might look like a blessing on the shelf, but peel back that price tag and you'll see the trap wired underneath. Ask yourself how they manage to undercut nearly every grocery store in America. Spoiler, it's not because they like you. It's because they've shaved every last cent out of the system until it squeals. The meat itself is often the lowest USDA grades allowed for human consumption, processed in massive industrial plants where the goal isn't quality. It's raw speed and volume. Think of it like a meat factory operating on the logic of a dollar store. Churn out as much as possible, as cheaply as possible, and hope nobody notices the smell until they've driven home. By the time it hits your local shelf, that deal has already been marinated in cost cutting. Minimal inspections, skeleton crews instead of trained staff, and no one held accountable if it goes bad. And that's the brutal irony. The price you see is only the down payment. The real bill comes later. When that bargain pack of chicken turns sour overnight, you don't just lose $10. You lose meals you planned, time you don't have, and trust you can't afford to misplace. Older Americans on fixed incomes end up paying double, once at the register and again in anxiety, wondering if tonight's dinner is going to make them sick. Internal labor audits have shown Walmart routinely runs meat departments with far fewer staff than industry norms, meaning fewer eyes on safety and more slip-ups swept under the rug. Even consumer advocacy groups have flagged the company for prioritizing profit margins over freshness and food safety. What looks like savings is really a slow bleed, nickeling away your security one spoiled steak at a time. Walmart has weaponized cheapness, turning it into bait on a hook. And for those of us just trying to stretch a pension check, it's a hook that digs deeper every time. Number 6. Fake Fresh Mirage. Those bright, fresh stickers plastered across Walmart's meat might as well be stage makeup on a corpse. Shiny enough to distract you, but not enough to hide the decay creeping underneath. Shoppers often chalk it up to paranoia when a supposedly fresh cut looks like it's already fought in 3-bar brawls and lost. But it's not paranoia, it's policy. Multiple whistleblowers have come forward revealing that some Walmart locations quietly repackage older meat, swap out expiration labels, or simply slap a brand new, fresh sticker on top to keep it moving. Inside the industry, they even have a name for this sleight of hand: rebranding. It's a trick worthy of Wall Street, except this one is played with your dinner. And while it tiptoes just inside USDA's loose legal lines, it leaves customers paying premium prices for meat that's basically on life support. Held together by shrink wrap and wishful thinking. One former employee flat out confessed, if it didn't smell rotten, it got a new sticker. Let that sink in. If it merely seemed okay, it was pushed back out like a contestant on a game show no one asked to join. Internal reports have flagged cases where meat was cycled through this sticker charade 2 or even 3 times, dodging the trash bin like a zombie in a lab coat. By the time it lands in your cart, that prime steak may have been playing hide and seek with bacteria for days. And in stores where refrigeration is inconsistent, a problem Walmart has been cited for repeatedly. Those extra days can turn your dinner into a petri dish. For older Americans stretching every dollar, this isn't just deceptive marketing, it's betrayal dressed as a bargain. Walmart has turned freshness into theater, and the punchline is cruel. You're paying full price for leftovers in disguise. Number 7. Cold chain chaos. That neat plastic-wrapped steak sitting quietly on the Walmart shelf might look harmless, but it could be carrying a ticking biological landmine. The danger isn't always what you see, it's what you don't. Meat is supposed to stay locked between 32 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit from the moment it leaves the plant until it hits your pan. Break that cold chain for even a short stretch and it becomes a breeding ground. But Walmart's sprawling, overstretched distribution machine has turned that rule into more of a suggestion. With skeleton crews juggling stock, constant product shuffling, and delivery trucks unloading pallets like they're racing the clock, meat can sit too long in the danger zone, where salmonella and E. coli multiply like they just got a stimulus check. The package still looks fine, the color still tricks the eye, but the bacteria have already thrown a microscopic block party. Whistleblowers from Walmart's own logistics network have described delivery docks sitting stacked with raw meat for hours after refrigeration units failed, only for the same meat to be shoved straight back into coolers as if nothing happened. Internal safety audits have flagged temperature excursions across multiple regions, corporate jargon for "we let it warm up long enough to become a petri dish." Add in the chaos of overworked employees rushing to restock and customers pawing through packages for the freshest date, and that steak you just bought may have taken a few sweaty laps around the danger zone before reaching your cart. For older Americans living on tight budgets, this is the quietest kind of betrayal. The kind that doesn't smell, doesn't look wrong, but hits like a sledgehammer days later. Walmart's meat section isn't just cold, it's a gamble in disguise, and the house is betting you'll never see the bacteria coming. Number 8. Chemical waterlogged. Those strange puddles of pinkish liquid lurking in Walmart's meat packages aren't just natural juices. They're the smoking gun of one of the industry's most cynical tricks. What looks like a fresh, plump cut of beef or chicken is often nothing more than a sponge swollen with chemical brine. Walmart's cheaper cuts are routinely pumped full of saline solutions and laboratory-made preservatives to keep them looking red, firm, and alive long after they should have started showing their age. It's not about giving you better meat, it's about giving you heavier meat. Every ounce of that liquid illusion rings up at the register as if it were steak, even though what you're really buying is water wearing a meat costume. And not just any water. This isn't the kind you sip on a summer porch. It's water laced with additives like sodium phosphate, potassium lactate, and sodium erythorbate, all designed to hold in moisture, lock in color, and drag spoiled meat just far enough across the finish line to seem edible. Consumer lab tests have even found that some Walmart chicken breasts were carrying as much as 15% added solution by weight, meaning nearly a sixth of what customers paid for wasn't meat at all. Meanwhile, former Walmart meat department employees have admitted the bloody liquid pooling at the bottom of trays is often mostly water leached out from the injected brine, not true meat juices. It gives the illusion of freshness the way red lipstick gives the illusion of youth. Convincing from afar, unsettling up close. And the preservatives themselves don't just sit there harmlessly. Some studies have linked high levels of phosphate additives to kidney strain and heart complications, especially in older adults. For retired Americans trying to stretch their grocery budget, this is the cruelest trick of all, paying steak prices for seasoned water and calling it dinner. Walmart has turned meat into a magic show, and the big reveal is that the freshness you thought you bought is floating in a chemical soup. Number 9. Blind meat aisles. Walmart's meat section may look like it's under control, but behind the glassy plastic and bright sale tags, it's often running on autopilot, and no one's actually watching the wheel. Inspections, when they happen at all, are more about pushing product than protecting customers. With tiny skeleton crews trying to wrangle mountains of inventory, entire displays can sit for hours without a single safety check. That slimy chicken thigh glistening inside a leaky tray. It could have been marinating in its own decay since morning. Or yesterday. By the time you find it, it's not just meat anymore, it's a dare wrapped in plastic. Former Walmart associates have revealed that when things get busy, and they always get busy, staff are told to prioritize keeping shelves full over keeping them safe. Spoiled meat is sometimes buried under newer packages instead of removed, like a game of hide and seek no one volunteered to play. Internal memos, uncovered by consumer watchdogs, have documented missed rotation protocols at dozens of stores, corporate speak for, "We didn't bother checking it." And with constant stock rotations and crushing delivery volumes, the chaos makes it easy for rotting meat to blend right in until some unlucky shopper becomes its chauffeur home. Unlike smaller grocers where butchers and managers are expected to inspect displays multiple times a day, many Walmart stores simply don't have the people or the time to do it. That's how expired chicken quietly becomes tomorrow's casserole, and because no one sees it happen, no one gets held accountable. For older Americans living on razor-thin budgets, this isn't just a minor oversight. It's a booby trap built into the meat aisle, invisible until it detonates in your kitchen. Walmart has turned out of sight, out of mind into an operating model, and the cost is being quietly passed to anyone desperate enough to trust what's left on the shelf. Number 10. Profits over people. Walmart didn't rise to the top of America's retail pyramid by selling excellence. They climbed there by bulldozing over it. Their empire was built on a cold mechanical equation: volume over value, cost over care. Every decision in their meat department screams it. They source the rock-bottom cheapest cuts they can find, strong-arm suppliers into accepting razor-thin payments, and slice away every safeguard that might slow down the profit machine. The goal isn't quality, it's throughput, measured in pounds, pallets, and quarterly margins. And when the inevitable spoilage shows up, that risk gets quietly shifted to you. They know most shoppers won't raise hell over a $10 pack of chicken gone bad. They bank on your silence like it's part of their revenue model. They count on you thinking, it was cheap anyway, as you toss spoiled meat into the trash and head back for more. But that silence has been cracking. Xavier customers have started comparing receipts to reality, realizing that any savings vanish the moment they're forced to throw away rancid meat or pay double replacing it. Consumer complaint boards are riddled with stories of shoppers finding moldy ribs under fresh labels, half-thawed beef that stank before the pan was hot, and even reports of green-tinged chicken still sitting on shelves hours after staff were warned. And through it all, Walmart's executives remain eerily unbothered, because their system is designed to absorb your losses as their gain. Every spoiled steak you toss fuels the illusion that low prices come without risk. But here's the real horror. When a company builds its entire meat model on cutting corners, those corners don't just trim costs. They cut directly into your health. Walmart isn't just selling cheap meat. They're selling you the gamble that you'll eat it before it betrays you. Number 11. The legal graveyard. Behind Walmart's Polished aisles and smiling rollback signs lies a trail of lawsuits and health violations that reads like the rap sheet of a repeat offender. Over the years, the company has quietly faced wave after wave of legal blows involving spoiled meat, false labeling, and customers who walked in for dinner but left with hospital bracelets. One notorious case still echoes through consumer watchdog circles. A family in Texas sued Walmart after allegedly suffering severe food poisoning from chicken bought at their local store. The lawsuit claimed the poultry was already expired when sold, and it reportedly sent multiple family members to the hospital. But what makes it chilling is that it wasn't some rare, freak occurrence. It was just the story that happened to make headlines. Multiple investigations over the past decade have uncovered a pattern lurking in Walmart's perishable aisles. Food safety standards applied with the kind of close enough mentality that would get smaller grocers shut down overnight. Internal audits have occasionally flagged violations from improper storage temps to mislabeled expiration dates, yet the machine keeps humming. Why? Because Walmart has scaled itself into near untouchability. With thousands of stores sprawling across the map like a corporate empire state, enforcing meaningful change has become almost impossible. When one location gets caught, it's a slap on the wrist, a fine small enough to disappear into their couch cushions, and then business resumes as usual, until the next outbreak. For older Americans who trust that a brand this massive must be safe, that's the cruelest twist. Walmart's size isn't a safety net, it's a shield. A fortress of sheer volume that absorbs scandals without flinching, while customers unknowingly become the test subjects. Every tainted chicken breast and mislabeled steak swept under the rug reinforces a brutal truth. Walmart has grown too big to be scared and too powerful to be forced into change, and as long as that legal graveyard stays buried under their profits, it's the shoppers, not the corporation. Who pay the real price? Number 12. Silent recall. Roulette. Walmart has played host to more meat recalls than most shoppers could stomach, but you'd never know it walking down their spotless aisles. Over the years, they've quietly been tied to recall after recall. Ground beef laced with salmonella, chicken tainted with listeria, pork flagged for foreign material contamination, which is the legal world's polite way of saying, we don't even know what got into it. But unless you spend your evenings glued to the USDA's recall website like it's Netflix, chances are you never heard a word. Walmart certainly won't tell you. There's no bold red warning banner strung across the meat section, no announcement over the store PA saying, "Attention shoppers, that ground beef you fed your grandkids last week might kill you." Instead, they rely on what can only be described as stealth damage control. Maybe a paper notice taped near the customer service desk, printed in font so small it might as well be a magic eye puzzle, and then they cross their fingers that you walk right past it. This isn't just poor communication, it's calculated. Internal retail audits have revealed that most Walmart stores are instructed to use only passive recall notifications, meaning they don't have to contact you directly, even if they know your purchase is part of a recall. Former employees have admitted that recalled meat often stays on shelves until staff get around to pulling it, creating windows where contaminated products are still being sold to unsuspecting shoppers. And because Walmart moves staggering volumes of meat daily, the odds that someone brings home a recalled package before anyone notices are terrifyingly high. For older Americans who don't have the luxury of tossing food on a hunch, this isn't just irresponsible. It's Russian roulette with invisible bullets. Walmart has turned recalls into background noise, banking on the hope that you're too tired, too rushed, or too trusting to notice. And in that silence, danger keeps selling by the pound. Before their next deal poisons another dinner table, expose the truth. Subscribe now and stand with us against deception.
Thanks so much for sticking with us to the very end. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our daily updates. And now feel free to check out some of our latest and most popular videos showing up on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.